Good morning, everyone. Brian here with BMK Retro Gaming. This morning, I have for us a review of the IntelliVision original library game, Truckin. Pardon me, I think I need to... Okay, I think that'll be a bit more clear. The bags under my eyes seem a bit worse. That's because I'm up very early and I'm still sleepy, so... forgive me. I think my allergies are acting up some too, so... Anyway, Truckin. It's a pretty decent game. It was developed by developer doing the programming Rick Levine and Dave Duran doing the sound to be for publishing by Imagic or Imagic in 1983. Basically, what it is a pretty simple simulation that's actually fairly accurate as to what it would be like or what is like to be a commercial truck driver. You know, driving what's otherwise called a big rig, 18-wheeler, etc. And anyway, for the time, it's actually pretty accurate. I personally, when I was growing up, after my parents divorced, my younger adopted brother and I, we lived with our mother in the Houston area, and our father lived in Mount Pleasant, which is it's about an hour south of Dallas here in Texas. So it's a good deal of a ways going, and he always had a CB radio in his diesel truck that he would drive, and we would use it to chat with commercial truck drivers off and on. After all, they don't know who they're talking to for sure. They just know somebody down there, and it's kind of hard to identify. Anyway, and I used to get the idea, you know, with all that probably being a commercial truck driver wouldn't be such a bad idea for a future job, maybe one day. Well, of course, I haven't really got to find out for certain. But with Truckin, you get at least an idea of what the experience might be like to a degree. Here's my, I have a CIB copy. It's complete in box. Here we go. It says Truckin, Imagic, and all. It says for the IntelliVision system. It says also video game cartridge, also compatible with Sears Super Video Arcade. Then on the back, we have a little bit of a description and a couple of gameplay images. And it does tell us it's 1983 Imagic or Imagic down here. Inside, well, first off, let's see. We've got a pretty big manual here. It's about 20 pages. It's got a little bit of an introduction here on front. Same nice image. As somebody pointed out, it looks like it's in the truck's in the wrong lane, which I think is kind of intentional. Somebody in my IntelliVision Invasion Facebook group pointed that out in the comment section, and I'm sitting here going, well, these idiots on here do make it where you can have a crash pretty easily if you're not careful enough. So yeah, that's not entirely inaccurate as to the image. Anyway, second page gives us a table of contents. Then, of course, page 3 goes over objectives and the game types, which there's one. The first game type is the Great Interstate Race, where you have to visit 8 cities in the shortest time by taking the best interstate highway routes and driving safely. That's usually either one of these is how do you say let me see here. Both are basically, how do you say, two-player or single-player games, but the game 1 is probably better played as a two-player game, whereas game 2 is a hauling cargo game, which is much more like what an actual commercial truck driver does. You have to earn the most money you can hauling payloads to selected cities within a time limit. by picking the best combinations of cargoes and destinations, driving safely, conserving fuel, and rest stop costs. Then, of course, secondly, page 4 tells us about pick your game. Page 5, get ready game 1. Get ready game 2 on page 6 and all that. Then on 7, it starts telling you down here about being on the road. Everything from knowing how to get there to your accelerator and brake, how to use them. Then page 8 more, it goes over steering and avoiding wrecks. Page 9 tells you about the state police who might pull you over if you do happen to be speeding for too long. I've never had that one happen, but anyway, that's on page 9. 10, it tells you about gas refills, both the ones you have to pay for and the free ones, and rest stops. Tells you a little bit more about that on page 11. Then on the bottom of it starts telling you about changing highways and U-turns. It's more than on 12. Then the time and date check. On 13, it tells us about it also starts talking about the landscape, which over here on 13 continues that you got this is supposed to be an oil well. This is a tree and a deer. It tells you about the horizon, which gives you an idea what lies ahead somewhat. Highway signs. 14 tells you about ghost trucks, the sky, the rearview mirror. Then game 2 cargoes, about the cargoes and their different values. And how you can also mix and match some cargoes, and some you can't. Some are compatible, some aren't. It tells you about delivering cargoes, more about that on 15. Then about load capacity, calling ahead for other loads. A little bit more of that on 16. Then it goes on 1-player versus 2-player game strategies. And then page 17, it talks about the game in for game 1 and game 2. Which game 2, the one we're going to play, basically ends when time runs out. And that tells you about a test drive thing here. Page 18 goes into a little more about that. 19, a little bit more about that. And then how to get replacement keypad covers. And finally, the end with some more credits and all, and the 2-year limit warranty thing. Then finally, here we have this is your interstate map, which gives you the full interstate thing and the key to understanding all the cities and all on there. And some more info on back to, which takes you over some other things. This is actually good because it's tough to get this with to get everything CIB with this included. I paid a bit for this game. I forget exactly, but you'd have to go back to my old unboxing video from well over a year ago to find out. I'd be getting closer to 2 years by now anyway. And here's what the cartridge looks like. Basic Imagic cartridge with the, or Imagic or Magic, with the basic rainbow kind of color design over silver. Says Truckin here. We've got the Imagic or Magic here and on the, not on the back this time. And a little basic handle, and it's got some pretty clean looking contacts and all. Anyway, I've talked for almost 10 minutes, and I don't want this to drag out forever. I've got my TV IntelliVision 3 out and set up, so I'm going to stick this in there, and we're going to take a look at the gameplay real quick. We'll play game 2, which is probably better for the single player. Game 1, the race game, I don't have a second player for anyway, and even though you could do it by yourself, to me, game 2, where you're delivering cargo just seems a little bit more like what an actual commercial truck driver would do, and that's why I play the game and enjoy it. So that's what we're going to play. So let me get that set up and we'll take a look into it. One more thing before I forget. We're about to get into the gameplay here real shortly, but I almost forgot. This is what your keypad overlays look like. It gives you a basic overview of all your commands that you have at your disposal. I'm not going to go over them too much here, but basically each one has a different function. Let me see. Keypad 1 is road, game, or 2 here. For 2, 3 is check load. 4 is local info. 5 drop off load. 6 pickup load. 7 call ahead info. 8 gas. 9 rest. Clear is select city. 0 is your horn. Honk honk. And enter is status, and then accelerate are the 2 top fire buttons, and brake are the bottom ones. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and stick this into a controller, then I'm going to go ahead and get ready to start this gameplay. I just realized before I start the gameplay that I didn't even go over the keypad overlays, and they're actually very important for this one. Okay, so let me get this turned back around. We're going to take a look into the gameplay. Okay, so here we go with gameplay for Truckin, IntelliVision original library game by Imagic or Magic. Okay, press 2 for gameplay 2. I want about 60 days worth of gameplay, which each day you add on there is about 2 minutes worth, so that'd be about 2 hours worth of gameplay. That's perfectly reasonable for if you're wanting to play this and enjoy it for a bit and have the time. Okay. Next thing you do is press call ahead. Press road. Next thing you do is press call ahead info and press your bottom right fire button. Until you find what you want. Okay, SA means we would go to Sacramento, and with the cattle load, and with cattle you can only take one of them. Next thing you do is you press 6 to pick up the load. Then go ahead and press fuel, so you will be fueled up. Press road and your side fire button to get up to speed, and you're off. I'm speeding a bit, but not too much. Those on the road are, we can see different images here, but a lot of that stuff, we'll see again in a minute here. That's another truck up there. I don't know if oh, crashed because I went too far, veered off to the left at one time. Oh well. A crash will cost you some money off of your stuff, though, of course. And I was speeding in the city, so my fault. Okay, now speed limit's 55. Come back down to 35. Down my way. Idiot truckers on this thing. One of the things that's not so realistic about this is the only other thing you're going to encounter on the road are other commercial trucks. There are no cars, trucks, or anything else on here. So that part is not such a realistic element in all of this, but could be worse. Now I can only get up to a certain speed because of damage taken. Oftentimes they'll try to pull out of your way some when you are honking. Thank goodness. And the moron still can't get the hell out of my way. That'll cost you a lot of money right there by itself. Okay. Stop, stupid. Okay, now that we're in Sacramento, press local info again. There's my load, and which I press 5 to drop the load off. And there we go, I got paid for it. And that's how you basically do that, and you keep doing that until you make enough money and your time runs out and the game's over. Or vice versa, you completely, you can run, after about two hours it's over with time run out, and whether you've made money or not is kind of measure of how well you did. Also in the game, I didn't get to show you guys because I didn't take a long enough route, but there are rest areas such as parks or national parks, which are where you're allowed to rest on the road usually. You can rest in cities. And when you're outside oil fields, you can also fuel up. So it's a game with some complexity. And again, I've never been stopped by a highway patrolman or whatever yet, so. But anyway, that's the basic idea, and I think you guys get a pretty good idea with the gameplay by now. So. Okay, so that was Truckin, a 1983 original library game for the IntelliVision from Imagic or Imagic. Is it pretty good? Well, if you're into simulation type games and would like to know kind of what it's like to be a commercial truck driver, which is one of the reasons why it appeals to me, yeah, it's okay for that. I wouldn't say it's a super spectacular game. It's a little bit more complex than some would like, though that's kind of one of the things that makes it a gym if you really have the patience to sit there and learn how to do it and appreciate it for what it is. There was a time when I'd sit there and play this thing for hours on end because I just enjoyed the idea of, that, hey, this is what it'd be like to drive a commercial truck. And again, like I was pointing out during the gameplay, there are some things that I like that there are only other commercial trucks on the road which aren't completely accurate. And also there are other areas you can rest safely besides just, say, national parks and stuff, or in cities. But otherwise, and your driver does experience fatigue on the game too. I almost forgot to mention that. After a while, you're going to get tired and you're going to have to rest. So it's realistic about that too. But anyway, it's pretty good. Back in the day, there was even a commercial featuring magicians Penn and Teller promoting it. So that's something. Anyway, I consider it pretty good, and I'd say go ahead and check it out if you get the chance, because it's not really a bad game once you get into it. Okay, I do have a couple of recommendations and links for you guys from my preferred YouTubers. That would be from IntelliVision channel and Crow Capture. I'll also go ahead and leave a link to the Blue Sky Rangers have a short little article on Truckin. There's not much as far as I could tell about how do you say I forget. I think it's them instead of INTV Funhouse. I forgot to write it down. But anyway, there's not much in terms of Wikipedia articles and stuff. This is not a very widely covered one. In other words, so I'll go ahead and leave a link to the little article they have on it with the Blue Sky Rangers, I believe it is. So you guys will have something if you want to read up a little bit further and get a little bit more information on it. Anyway, go ahead and keep your guys' eyes peeled for what the announcement post for what next Sunday's prototype homebrew review is going to be. I'm pretty sure, since I've still not had a lot of extra to work with, it's going to be just another emulation, either Atari VCS 2600 or in ColecoVision. Though I have not really picked one out yet, so I'm not sure what it's going to be. Anyway, I'll let you guys know when I do. Just keep an eye out on the YouTube channel feed, as well as if you follow me on my Facebook feed and Twitter feed for what it's going to be. Also, big shout out to my IntelliVision Invasion Facebook group. Love you guys over there, and hopefully y'all get this before too terribly long. I don't think it should be too much of any delay, since I don't believe it's been getting all that nasty outside, so hopefully this will come down pretty quick this morning. My apologies to someone, the gameplay being pretty simple, but I figured, what, it's been a while since I played this one, and to take a simple load up there and drop it off at Sacramento, I believe it was, is one of the easiest ways to demonstrate the gameplay. So my apologies that it wasn't a bit more intensive, but I just want to give a basic demonstration with that. So, you know. Anyway, if you enjoy this channel's content, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And please don't hesitate to leave any questions, comments, or suggestions down in the comment section below. You guys take care, have a wonderful Wednesday, and hopefully I will see everyone back here again this coming Sunday, if not sometime a bit before.